Canon Australia just posted further confirmation about some of the specs we're going to see on the up-and-coming EOS R5. It's going to be released sometime in 2020, so if you're waiting for this camera in particular, or just in the market for a new camera, especially if you shoot video, then you really need to hear this. The post starts with the title, "The King is Coming," and for those of you who've been following the topic or my channel, you'll know exactly what this means. It's in reference to the new Canon EOS R5, which has been confirmed by Canon just last month, with many months of speculation preceding this final announcement. They're calling it the King, as clearly they're making a major play in the mirrorless space with the clear intention to dethrone the likes of the Sony A7 and the A9 full-frame digital mirrorless cameras. In the post, Canon confirmed that the EOS R5 would shoot 8K video at 30 frames per second using the full not cropped sensor, beating any other mirrorless camera on the market today in terms of resolution and depth of field. It added a bit more detail too, saying that in all 8K modes, the EOS R5 will support Canon's renowned dual pixel CMOS autofocus system. Speaking of which, they've improved the AF tracking for people and added intelligent tracking of animals. The EOS R5 will be able to recognize dogs, cats, and birds, tracking not only the animal's eyes, but also the face and body when the eyes aren't visible. Other specs remain as promised before, including 12 frames per second and 20 frames per second burst speeds, with the mechanical and electronic shutter respectively, in-body stabilization that works in concert with stabilized lenses, automatic image transfers from the device to Canon's new image cloud platform, and dual card slots. For those of you new to the story of the EOS R5 so far, let me provide some further context. The original EOS R left the Canon fanbase somewhat disappointed. It was Canon's first offering in the full-frame mirrorless segment, and despite being a very competent first release, most of us felt that it was a little underwhelming in terms of specification. The two most criticized omissions were the lack of IBIS, or in-body image stabilization, and the crop factor when shooting in 4K video. There were other minor criticisms, including an unimpressive frame rate for action photography and that new touch bar that was added, which really didn't add a lot of value in terms of ergonomics and the handling of the camera. So when the R5 was announced, boasting an upgraded CMOS sensor with 8K video recording and IBIS, the Canon fanbase went crazy. And that's an understatement. I was reading all of the comments on social media, YouTube, and looking at what the photography press had to say, and it's been overwhelmingly positive. However, since full specs have yet to be announced, there's been some reservation or concern that they may be crippling the specification of that 8K capability. I was actually hoping to have a full spec sheet ready for you by now. As I'd mentioned in my last video, it would have been likely that Canon would have announced the full specifications during the CP++ camera show in Tokyo late February, but unfortunately, like many other events this year, this was cancelled due to this pandemic unfolding right now all over the globe. And in addition to that, we now have been told that there's going to be some supply chain problems that might affect the ultimate release date this year. We're still missing key information like the sensor resolution, although the consensus is that it will come in at around 45 megapixels. So that'll probably be the next spec to be unveiled in the lead up, and following that will be the price and release date. What I can say about that is purely speculation, but I think the price is going to have to be well above 3K US. It could even be as high as 3,500 to 4,000. Industry-leading specs that they're putting into this camera suggest that, and the release date, really, it's very hard to say at this stage, but I would say in the next few months, it's very likely. So before you get too excited, you really need to consider whether, first of all, you're going to pay that premium above the base model EOS R, which you can get for around 2,000, and even cheaper if you go for an RP. And it's safe to say that these entry-level models will be around for a while, so I don't know that an upgrade is going to be justified for so many of us already invested into an EOS R. But certainly if you are timing your purchase this year and you do have that extra budget available, it would be worthwhile getting just to get access to that high burst shooting rate and that 8K video. Now, having said that, 8K video, I think, is a little bit overrated at this stage. Most people will be viewing your content in 1080p on YouTube, sometimes 4K. So when you're shooting, I don't think you're necessarily going to be ultimately authoring your videos in 8K for some time to come. If you're looking at future-proofing your purchase, 8K is a great option. If you like to have that extra flexibility in the edit, cropping the footage down in case you've missed certain aspects in your composition, 8K is going to be an advantage. But for most of us, shooting and working in 8K is going to present more problems than it's actually worth. For example, the actual amount of memory cards you're going to need to work in 8K is going to be incredible. The taxing of the battery, and also your computers. Will your computer be able to handle editing in 8K? If you've got a standard iMac or an entry-level PC, it's very unlikely you're going to be able to edit comfortably using 8K footage without having to create proxy files, which adds an extra layer of inconvenience in the whole editing process. So I wouldn't be over concerned about getting 8K capabilities if that's what you're holding off for, given that you're going to pay so much more for this particular model. But certainly for those professionals out there demanding the absolute best in video, this 8K mode is certainly going to blow the competition away. So good on you, Canon, for doing that. Looking forward to seeing this release. And as soon as I get more information about it, I will be producing updated videos, and hopefully I will get the full specs in the next few weeks, or certainly in the next month or two to come, and I'll produce a full video offering all the details of the brand new Canon EOS R5. Thanks for watching. If you've heard any other rumors or you'd like to comment on this video, feel free to do so in the comments box below, and don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so you'll be notified of up and coming video releases. See you on the next one. Bye for now.